Welcome back to the Kidmin Huddle. I am joined today by the one and only Mr. Carl Barnhill from Church Visuals. Welcome.
So, Amber, I've done another podcast today, and I have to say I've been looking forward to this all day long. You are my favorite podcast that I will be on today. Do not tell the others. Please don't
Wow.
tell them
You
because
had it. You
I
had
don't
it.
want
I
them.
was so excited. I'm like, I'm your favorite podcast, and then you have to go and quantify it that you're on today. But thanks. I'll still
No, no,
take.
no. I was on another one today, and I have to say, you're my favorite out of the two. Of course, I'm not gonna say if I told them the same thing, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just
Man.
kidding.
Whew.
Amber, I'm so happy to be with you. Seriously, later in the day, I've like the whole day just looking forward to spending time with you.
Same, same. All right, so let's kick off. In case some of our friends have no clue who you are and who Church Visuals are is that a plural? How do we do grammar wise? It's
Sure.
fine. Um, tell us what is Church Visuals all about? What's your all's mission? What do you do? Why do they need to know who you are?
Yes. So I was at a church years ago, about 15 years ago, and I was the only video guy at a church. And the Lord kind of planted in my heart that what if a bunch of churches could have high quality video content and graphics content for an affordable price? And so that's kind of where the seed of this company came from. This is like 15 years ago before, that's kind of thing in the market. So that's where it came from. So fast forward 15 years, we were 1230 Media. We rebranded to Church Visuals to just kind of make it clear what we do. We are all about helping ministry leaders visually communicate the gospel. So what is Church Visuals? It's the stuff on your screen. It's the graphics and video content. And I can share all kinds of stats and stuff, but really everything points to the that video especially is people retain information more when they see visual media, especially with the video. And so we're all about helping ministry leaders not entertain, not just save time or look great, but to help you communicate the gospel through visual media. So that's what we're all about.
Man. So, I mean, are good quality visuals really that important? And I'm asking this in sarcasm because I know the answer.
I ask this a lot on my podcast because I kind of want to know the answer to that too. And I think, I mean, I know the answer is yes. But I think more and more churches are like, well, I can just make that myself. And they think it looks good, but it does, it may or may not, depending on their skill level. I think we know quality when we see it. And I think that in the Christian space, especially, I mean, think of movies. I'm a big movie buff.
Mhm.
Think of Christian entertainment in general. Most of the time, if we go see a Christian movie or you suggest a Christian movie, there's a disclaimer. Well, I mean, the acting's not that great, but it's pretty good. Or like, I mean, you could tell like it was kind of low budget, but it's pretty good. I mean, the story's good. And although that can be true, the story can be great. I think that the excellence is matters a great deal. I tell the story a lot of like other guys in Hollywood. There's this guy Jerry Bruckheimer that's a big like producer in Hollywood. I'm getting my movie buff card out. But this guy named Jerry Bruckheimer, and he's produced shows like CSI and big huge movies, Bad Boys and Top Gun and all these big movies. And he's more of a conservative, which a conservative in Hollywood is a very rare find. But the reason why he's so respected is because he's good. He's excellent. And I think that's just one example of I think it matters in our space that we need to be really good at our craft. And so, do visuals matter? Do high quality visuals matter? Yes, I think that kids and students and adults all can recognize quality. They might not be able to say, "Oh, the reason why that's high quality is because the font choice." They may not be able to get into the details, but they can tell you if something's high quality. And man, these guys really brought their A game. Like they you can tell.
Mhm.
I think so. What do you think?
Oh, absolutely. As a grown up, I would say that it wouldn't like deter me from church, but like let's be honest,
Right.
if it were that bad, it kind of could. But when we're dealing with kids, especially,
Yeah.
that's the world that they live in. And if it's so low quality,
Yep.
it is gonna take away. It's going to be distracting. I'll give you an example. There is a store in Louisville. I'm in Kentucky, so big city. And every time I pass the store, I can't get over the font that they picked for their title. Like huge out there, and I'm like, it's like Comic Sans on a
Mm-hmm.
building. It's
Mm-hmm.
Mattress and More. So Mattress and More, if you're listening, please change your font. It's horrible. So it does how we're communicating things. It reflects on us. So if I were going to
Mm-hmm.
go into a church and it's like really bad clip art and the ugly borders that because you've copied and paste, or my personal favorite, which has been done at a church I served at, they like printed stuff and like cut it and put it on paper and photocopied it, and that's how we were communicating our visuals. I'm like, "Ah."
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
need to put our best foot forward. We need to be looking professional and giving high quality, because the alternative, when they're watching TV, when they're on YouTube, man, some of
Yeah.
these YouTubers that our kids are watching, they have some serious skills.
Yeah.
So we need to be striving to compete with it. So what is your favorite font or your least favorite font, Carl? Because I know you
Mm.
have one. I've had this conversation with Kevin Weirs. He has font preferences. So what's
Okay.
yours?
So I need to rabbit trail you. So do you know that Kevin's last name is not pronounced Weirs? It's pronounced Wires.
Wires. I
I
should know
know.
that because
I
Alicia's
He's
like my
worked
best
for me
friend.
for like a year now, and he's like, "Oh, by the way, you pronounce it Wires." It's like you couldn't tell anybody.
Sorry,
Anyway,
Kevin.
all right. So, do I have a favorite font? Um, yes. So I'm gonna go with our two brand fonts right now are Integral and Colfax. So Colfax is a font that I've used for years. That's nice and clean. It's got different weights to it that I can regular and bold and
Mhm.
higher bold and heavy, and there's multiple weights that I can kind of use. And so yeah, so Integral is kind of our main church visuals font. That's this right here. I kind of dig that, nice and bold. At least favorite. I mean, your normal probably Papyrus, Comic Sans,
Mhm.
kind of stuff like that. Oh, but it's ancient Egyptian. No, I know you still can't. The only person that can get away with using Papyrus apparently is Avatar. Uh, the movie's Avatar. Apparently they can get away with it, but nobody else can.
Nobody
Did
else.
you notice that? The Avatar movie font. There's actually an
I
SNL
didn't.
skit about
Oh,
how
that's
the
fun.
graphic designer got away with using a Papyrus for the
Well,
Avatar.
if your whole team is dressing up in like giant blue suits, maybe then, but otherwise, no papyrus. You heard it here,
Yeah,
Kidmin leader.
yeah, no Papyrus. No Papyrus.
Okay, so you said that graphics, that visuals are being used to communicate the gospel.
Yeah.
How?
So I I would answer
Or
that
how
by
should
saying,
it?
yeah, I would say your the let's talk graphics and then video.
Yeah.
So graphics, I think, just need to be high quality, and the elements used within that graphic. Like I only hire believers. I only hire people who I can have a good sense that they have the Holy Spirit inside of them, guiding how they're crafting their art. And so the if we're doing a series, we work with a lot of curriculum, right? So if we're doing a series on Jonah or a unit on Jonah, to know the elements of the Jonah story, which that might be too common, but maybe we could use another Bible story that's less common. But you got to know about the Jonah story to know, okay, it's a whale and it's a guy or a big fish and a guy, and this was kind of the story. He's the reason why, and there's
Mhm,
and
mhm.
you need to know that faster in order to communicate that story. And so I would the more Bible knowledge you have, the more elements, the more you can kind of know where you're coming from in a graphic to know what elements to use, where's the setting, what's the background. All
Mhm.
of those things kind of play into that. From a video standpoint, again, we only hire believers because the scripting of it, the elements that you use, how you craft that story, how the music in that story, let's say, a video, let's say it's an animated Bible story video. How we're telling that story needs to be biblically accurate. That's where the difference in just making a random, commercial for soap and what we do is different. We're helping you tell Bible stories. We're helping you be theologically sound, biblically sound um, in your communication tools. So if you're going to show your kids a video, and that's going to take up valuable time in your unit, that story needs to be told well, and everything about that story that we can control and help be biblically accurate. We want it to be, and I, over the years, I've been able to tell a difference in video editors who are deeper in their faith walk, let's just
Mhm.
say, than others because of that reason. Oh, I can tell that you read that passage because of XYZ. We have mutual friends in Seeds Kids Worship, and I've done a ton of lyric videos for them.
Mhm.
That's word for word scripture. It's helpful to know what's going on in that passage, to know, okay, if I'm going to create a world around this passage, what's going on in the context
Mhm.
of this verse? How am I going to tell that story in a visual way? And how am I going to communicate this in a way that kids can grow in their faith, or students can grow in their faith? I think it matters. I hope that answered your question.
Oh, absolutely. I like what you said about how essentially you're saying we're being intentional with what we're showing and what we're doing. That actually, spoiler alert, I am currently working on draft two, round two, version two, update two of a going to be released in 6 months book called Intentional Children's Ministry.
Woohoo!
Um, Man, Josh Mulvihill, he gives lots of edits. And so I'm working through all his edits. And I've already added like 5,000 words in the last 2 days based on his edits. He's a
Nice.
monster, a good monster. Love you, Josh. But the whole premise of this book is that we have to be intentional.
Yeah.
So if you're a church leader and you're showing a video just for the sake of showing a video and it has no purpose, what are you doing? Don't do it.
Yeah.
We have a limited amount of time. If we have an hour, let's just say we have kids 1 hour a week, that's probably not even the average at this point post COVID. If you have 60 minutes, is every one of those minutes intentionally pointing them to God?
Right.
So if we are just throwing up a song to get them to jump around, why? So it needs
Correct.
to be intentional. But then if we are using products created from a team, an amazing team, by the way, everyone I
Yeah.
have interacted with at Church Visuals is absolutely amazing. Carl only hires the best. They're awesome. But if
Thank you.
we are using products from a team that understands God's word, that loves God's word, man, there are
Yeah.
like layers of stuff. I don't know if you've made this graphic or not, because another mutual friend of ours is you guys do work for Answers in Genesis.
Hmm.
So they have obviously a lot of flood themed things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in their imagery, man, they've got the cross hidden in the ark door
That's right.
because they have a team of believers and they know they whoever made it, they made it, you made it. Eh.
Yeah.
But they know, man, the ark is more than just a story about a big boat. It's actually a picture of Jesus's redeeming love
That's
for
right.
us and how he is the one way
That's
of
right.
salvation.
Those little tiny details make such a huge difference. Because that leader in that classroom can connect those dots to the gospel.
Yeah.
That matters such a great deal. And I agree with you. I think that like we take great care in who we partner with, and we're 100% churches and ministries, because we want to partner with people that are all about that are all about how can we communicate the gospel well, not just entertain. Are there places for jump around songs and fun games? Yes, we make those, but for the most part, and or it's leading to something else. Like
Mhm.
I'm gonna do a jump around song or a game that's gonna move them
Mhm.
into or nod to this thing. There's a purpose in it. There's always a purpose in it.
Yeah. So, for example, to give you guys an example, um, you all created some really cool animal trivia videos to kick off the Great Jungle Journey
Yeah.
Answers in Genesis VBS. So
Yep.
it is just a straight fun game. But that fun
Yeah.
game is introducing the animal pals of the VBS,
That's
which
right.
every animal pal is then tying it back to the day's lesson. Everything is intentional, even in the fun. It's still intentional.
So one little detail about that I was really after, because I'll go up and meet with their team, and I will go in their books.
And you don't stop by me, who's only an hour away on your way. Rude.
I need to. I definitely need to the next time I go. I will go out of my way
I'll drive up
wherever
and
to
meet you.
see. Let's do it. So I'm in their bookstore and I'm looking through their content and I'm going, man, we could have missed an opportunity here. Like if we're using this monkey, that's the exact monkey that I want to use in this game, because I want the kids to know that game is leading matches that, and then that leads into the gospel presentation. Like those things are really do matter, really make a difference. And I mean, we don't get it right all the time, but we really try hard to look at those details, because it's all about setting the leader up. And I want people to know that like I mean, with us and other vendors, like we're not off this big huge company off somewhere. Uh,
Mm.
I mean, we're a small team, and these other, there are people that are really trying to serve you as the leader well in setting you up to share the gospel. And so that's why sometimes it's interesting online to, on social media and stuff, to get into conversations, because I'm like, yeah, I hope you know our heart. Like our heart is really to set you up well.
Hmm.
So
That's why Church Visuals is one of my favorite ministries, because I know your hearts. Those are my favorite ministries, when I know the hearts of the leaders.
yeah,
And you guys totally have it.
thanks.
So, all right, we've got, graphics. So maybe the graphics are helping to tell the Bible story.
Yep.
Um, we have videos. Videos.
Mhm.
I love your all's mini movies. Oh, I
Yeah.
think they might be my favorite product that you all do. They are super short. I think most of them are around a minute or 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's the
30 seconds
ones
to a minute. Yeah.
that are deep theological unpacking. Like, hey, I'm going to use this really big word and what this means. Love
Yeah.
those.
Yeah.
So we have videos. What are some of the other types of visuals that a church leader could use intentionally in their lesson time, or perhaps social media, engaging with parents or volunteers, those kind of things?
Yeah. So we've been building a ready-made media library that has 10 different product types. And one thing that's unique about our library is that we are serving the adult space, big church, and students and kids. One thing that's I'm gonna rabbit trail for a second. One thing that's really unique about our space is that we're kind of we also do custom media. So we're kind of the back end engine for a lot of the folks that are producers on other sites. So for instance, if you see a Seeds Kids Worship or a Yancey or a Doorpost or a Answers in Genesis or a Awana, something like that, there's a chance that our team could have made it in the back end, and you're, 3 steps down the line, it's getting to you under a different name. So that's kind of neat to see. But our library has adult, kids, and students all together. And those product types, you mentioned mini movies. We also have countdowns. We have games. The countdowns are like trivia or an interactive
Mhm.
thing of some kind. So it's getting kids moving or priming the pump for your lesson, right? It's kind of starting to get kids or students to kind of think about what's coming. A game is the same way. There are some fun games, but a lot of our games are going to teach biblical truth or kind of
Mhm.
set you up in some
Yeah.
way. Social media is another category that we have, that you can take graphics even into Canva. Like everything is Canva ready. If you use Canva, you can bring it
Who
in and add your
doesn't?
own
Who
text.
doing ministry right now doesn't have a Canva account?
I know, right? Just don't use Comic Sans or Papyrus
Nope,
on your
never.
graphics. But you can change those graphics and let them say whatever you want to say, or have a carousel. Like we've made a graphic for you, at, like, let's say a pizza party, and then on the next one it's blank, and then you can put your date and time or
Mhm.
whatever. Worship videos, lyric videos is
Mhm.
another category that we have. That's folks like Yancey and Seeds and Doorpost and All Star Kids and CM Worship, which just came on with us, that are great to use in your worship times. So those are just kind of a few of the product types.
And all of those can be used intentionally to do lesson time. I just finished
Yeah,
before we came in here the chapter in my book, souping it up, about
yeah,
being intentional. Everything needs to be intentional, and we need to be putting our
yeah,
best foot forward. So these are some wonderful resources. I know you guys have like graphics for, if you can think of the event, you guys have a graphic for it. And usually
yeah,
multiple versions. Like, you need a back to
yeah,
school event, I think you will have about 50. I'm
yeah,
just picking a number, but so many different variations and versions. Plus, they all come with the blank one, which is awesome. So really,
yeah,
you can go to Church Visuals and you can shop a la carte. And oh, I'm having a back to school, I'm having a pool party, so I totally need this and I want this mini
yeah.
movie. But you all also just started something really new and really cool. So tell us about this new plan y'all just unrolled.
Yes. So we are kind of some feedback that we've gotten is so our ready-made library has kind of been the answer for smaller churches, or hey, I don't know if I can afford custom media to be built for us. So our answer has usually been, well, go on and get an a la carte thing. You can get a graphic for $5 or a video for $10, something like that, or save
Mhm.
with subscription. But we're having more and more churches that are like, I'm ready to kind of take that next step into custom. And typically we've served larger churches or ministries. We're doing a full build out for Answers in Genesis or
Mhm.
somebody. But we really have a heart for the local church, and we want there to be no excuses really for you to be able to afford high quality visual media. So that's where these custom plans came from, is can we put everything together all in one package for you? So we have several tiers. 2.99 a month is our lowest custom tier. Now you can still get ready-made a la carte if you want to, but if you're kind of ready to make that next step. So 2.99 is like less than $10 a day. So we're really trying to make it affordable. So for less than $10 a day, you can get free access to the library, free
How many
access to
how
our
many
training.
things off the top of your head would be on your library?
And there's about 40,000 pieces of media in the
So you got
library.
a few to choose from.
Yeah. So, uh, so the bottom tier comes with 5 custom graphics, and then access to the library, and then access to training. And then the tiers kind of go up from there. But like our closest competitor in the space is like $700 a month. So we're really trying to get the price way down and keep the quality up. Of course, churches are in a place where like I need everything and I need it super cheap. Well, we're trying to find ways to like, hey, here's an option if you like zero budget. Here's an option if you're ready to kind of take your next step. But these custom plans have put everything together. So think for $300 a month. So even if you map that out a year, it's less than a part-time position
Mhm.
to get custom media, ready-made media, and training on how do we use visual media in our church? How do we use ProPresenter? How can I take these graphics and edit them myself? How do I do that? We teach you all that. All that's completely free. So now, this isn't a sales pitch. I really don't want this to come across like that. I want it to come across as we have a heart, and I know you do too, Amber, of serving the church well and making sure that every church can have access to
Mhm.
to high quality stuff. And so our skill set is the visual media components. Even if you have a curriculum, our stuff can be a supplement to that curriculum. In fact, we have a lot of churches that will do that. They will have us and a curriculum, and they have everything that they need for their whole year.
Mhm.
And this is also a legal route to purchase media where everybody's paid, all the royalties are taken care of, all the licensing is taken care
So
of.
wait,
It's
if
fully
I
legal
just
for you to
go
do it.
and stream a video from YouTube,
You're gonna get me on my soapbox, Amber. My
But
goodness.
it's important. We don't have to spend a long time because I know a lot of our friends have heard it, but streaming from YouTube is not actually a legal way to show videos in your church setting.
Yeah, so I would say a good rule of thumb on that is if you're not creating an account, or have an account or paying in to an account, like I used to work for New Spring. We gave our all of our kids content away, but you created an account on that site and then you downloaded because spoiler alert, we wanted your email to be able to send you other things. And so if you're not having the transaction where you're giving an email or creating an account or giving money, there's a good chance. I'm not saying in every case, but there's a really good chance it's probably illegal. So I would say that's a good rule of thumb. Be sure to create an account somewhere, or give money somewhere, and that's probably the legal route to do it.
Yeah, because we wanna be legally using things
Well,
because God's church.
here's how it translates. And I kind of talk hit on this at conferences and stuff. It translates in that if you're getting everything for free or you're finding it online and just ripping it off somewhere. Here's how that is affecting the people that are trying to serve you. The artists are not getting paid and they're not going to vendors to create other works of art for them to so the artist doesn't have the
Mhm.
funds to make more resources. The vendors do not have the funds to make more resources, and I can guarantee you that both of these entities are not out for a get rich quick. If we were out to get rich, ministry would not be our first
We
choice.
would not be working in children's
uh,
ministry.
right, but we do need the resources in order to make the funds in order to make new resources. So I just, it sounds weird coming from a vendor going, be sure to pay me. That's I mean, yes, we need to feed our families, but really it comes from a heart of like, if we don't have the funds, we can't make new resources for you. We're not hiding the ball here. I mean, that is
Yeah,
exactly what's going on. So
yeah,
there you go. Off my soapbox.
but an important one.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's been the greatest impact as we kind of wrap this up a little bit? What's been some of the greatest impact you've seen on churches using these really high quality visuals? Why does it matter? Let's go back
Man.
to the purpose.
Yeah. To see the life change happen. I was on YouTube the other day, and we just did a lyric video for Go Fish, who was a Jameson and the team at Go Fish. And I just happened to see the view count on the video that we did, and it was like 115,000 or 120,000 views on that one video. And I could do that countless times with lyric videos and Bible story videos and just on YouTube alone,
Yeah.
just from artists who have chosen to put their stuff on YouTube as a way to
Hmm.
for promotion and stuff. And then like Answers in Genesis, for instance, their VBS goes out to, I don't know, 15, 30,000 churches. So that's churches. And you figure, maybe there's 50 kids, 100 kids in each church. I mean, the impact that is being seen and felt is incredibly humbling. But it's not about like, ooh, our view count, yay! It's the stories of life change of kids getting saved, students and adults getting saved. I had a pastor on the podcast recently that said, we use one of your graphics off your from your library. We printed it and we made door hangers. And we put it on the door of people in our community. And the couple that saw it brought that door hanger, came to visit, brought that door hanger in and said, the graphic on this caught my attention,
Hmm.
and that's why I'm here. And because I came because something was attention getting, and I gave my heart I gave my life to Christ today from your sermon based on. So is it the graphic that saves? No, it's the Holy Spirit that saves. But but visuals can get the attention, or set the table for the Holy Spirit to work. It got this person in the door to hear the gospel, to come to Jesus. That's the point. The point's not to entertain. The point's not to just save time and look awesome. The point is impact and life change. And to hear story after story about that is why we do it.
Man, that's a good story. That's
Yeah.
a good story, and
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I I absolutely see it. Because put yourself in the reverse. Let's say you get a door hanger that has some 1990s clip art style. Are you who maybe the Spirit's been working in your heart and you have no clue because 'cause you've not met Jesus yet. But is that graphic that you just got in your door that's subpar going to move the needle on you going? Or are you gonna be like, this is not gonna be quality. No,
Right.
thanks." Versus, man, it could social media, same thing. You could post some okay graphics,
Right.
or maybe you have some really amazing impacting, because I'm gonna guess that you guys are constantly evaluating what's effective, what's moving the needle for people, what is
Yeah.
spurring people to action, what are people resonating with? I mean, I know you, so I know you all
Yeah.
are constantly evaluating effectiveness. So I could take my best guess at what would be a win on my church's social media, or I could have some experts who are doing it and they're in the trenches and they're
Yeah.
seeing the trends and what's moving people. And then we could get kids in church, families attending, all of this amazing thing, which all leads to the
Yep.
ultimate goal that we all have is to see boys and girls, moms and dads, grown-ups, all of them walking with Jesus.
Yeah.
So
Exactly. It's salvation and discipleship, right? It's not just get him in the door, which that story is great, but it's keeping that couple in church and discipling them to where they can grow in their faith. We don't have time to lose. The fight is real right now. And so I was just at a big conference in Indianapolis, and I was shocked with the number of pastors that I talked to, and they're like, "I don't know how to reach millennials." And I'm like, I'm 41. Are you open to hearing how? Yeah, yeah, I think so. Okay. If I walk in your doors and you have no screens, I'm probably out. Like that's kind of step number one. Basic. Well, I mean, we don't really have, like, I'm telling you. And then those screens need to be filled with content. Now, does it need to be coupled with great messaging and the Holy Spirit? Yes. Oh, yeah.
yeah,
The visuals are just a tool to set the table for the Holy Spirit to work. So, you want to know how to reach more of the next generation. Uh, Visuals is a
yeah.
key component.
I would piggyback off that social media for millennials. Um, same
Yeah.
same generation. Where do we go when we're looking for a church? We look online first.
Yeah.
If we have
Yep.
if we have a friend, because I believe relationship is so important in church. So if we have a friend and we're looking for a church and the friend's like, "Hey, my church is awesome, come visit." Absolutely. But if we're searching for a church, where are we going? We're looking on Facebook. We're looking at your church website. We're
Mhm.
looking at the graphics, the visuals, your production value. We're looking at all of those things.
Mhm.
When
I
I
can
step
tell in 10 seconds on your website if I'm gonna okay, they
Yeah.
brought their A game, or like I could immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can too.
When
Come on. Everybody
Oh,
can. I mean,
yeah.
people
When
can
when
tell.
I stepped down from my church to find out where we were going to go next after I went back home to the church I was raised in, had a little rest time because it was a lot in my life. And then we did a virtual tour of all of the churches in our county. We were just looking at Baptists because we're Baptist. And there was a lot, and I ruled all of them out based on their websites and watching their videos of live stream service. Um, so yeah,
Mhm.
you want to get millennials who are bringing their kids because it's the 30s and 40s.
Right.
I think 20s might be a different generation now, but they're still looking
Right.
online too.
Right.
It matters.
Yeah.
How you are
It
presenting
really
yourself
does.
visually and graphically, it matters. It makes a
And I'm
difference,
not
a huge
saying I'm
difference.
not saying that there are some young people who don't like a more traditional setting. Yeah, that yes. But I would say for the most part,
Mhm.
it's that. It's
Yeah,
it's people that are looking, and is this something for me and my family? So
absolutely. Absolutely. Okay,
you're
Carl,
awesome, Amber.
thanks. Where can we find out more? about church visuals. Maybe like me, I'm a visual learner. I need to see it. So
Yeah.
if our friends are wanting to go poke around and see all of this in action, where do we go?
Please go to churchvisuals.com because so last year we rebranded. We were 1230 Media and we rebranded to Church Visuals because it says what we do and is so much clearer. And if I would have known 10 years ago, I would have done it different. But hey, live and learn. So last year we rebranded and we built a brand new website from the ground up. So a lot of blood, sweat, tears, and money into this website. So go check it out, churchvisuals.com. And I hope what you see there is a heart of ministry folks who want to partner with ministry leaders to see life change happen. So yeah, churchvisuals.com is our
And he
hangout.
had Carl is there. He's got a whole team of wonderful people that if you have questions, if you want to learn more, maybe you need to see, hey, walk me through what's going to be the best fit for my church. Seriously, his team is amazing. They would love to do that because they have hearts of ministers, ministers with a lot of tech skills.
Thank you, Amber. Hey, by the way, you guys are killing it on your Facebook group and your social media. I mean, every time I turn around, I see maybe it's the algorithms. I don't know, but you're all over my feed. And I'm like, there's Amber
Your feed
again.
just knows.
She's
So
incredible.
I'm quite tickled. We've had one post, which was a quote that I literally took off of our website. And it was talking about if you send kids to a public school for 13 years and there's no mention of God, and all of the subjects, as there should be a mention of God and everything, like what kind of kid are you getting is basically the gist of it, that
Yeah.
we can't do this. This thing is going insane. Do you know who Francesca Battistelli is?
Yeah.
Okay, she shared
Yes.
it. I mean, we've got all of these people. It is somehow made this way, like shares of shares of shares, and it is going crazy. I mean, I have no clue of how many times this one picture has gone through because it looked fine. It's not church visuals quality, but it's Amber Pike quality, so it's good enough. But the content, and see, you
Awesome.
guys, you've got the quality and the content, so it's the win. Church visuals, it's a no-brainer.
Thank you. You're awesome.
All right. Well, Carl, thank you so much for joining us today. And I am giving you the honor, even though on my end your picture froze, but I can still hear you, so it's fine.
I know, right? I just
Yeah,
saw that.
I
I
know.
don't know how long I've been frozen, but
For about like 20 seconds, but it's fine. So every episode of the
okay.
Kidmin
Okay, good.
Huddle, I close by reminding Kidmin leaders what they do matter. So will you close out this episode by reminding our friends of that?
Of why they do what they do?
Yeah, every episode I close, remember Kidmin leaders, what you do matters. So just close us to remind them that everything they do in ministry matters.
Oh, absolutely. Everything that you do in ministry matters. The details matter. And I think that there's a lot of times where you don't think it matters. You don't think that that encouragement or that moment that you spent with a kid or that am I making a difference? You are. Absolutely you are. Hang in there. You got this. You are making an impact. You are making a difference. So keep after it.